Hello. Now we're going to do the next section. In the last section, we talked about the evolution into karma, outward into the world of doing our karmas out in the world. Now we're going to talk about involution beyond karma, which is the journey back to the center of consciousness. Here, we're familiar with the journey now from what we just did with the evolution outward into karma. So now when we move back inward, I hope that this will make a lot of sense to you by moving inward now. We start out here with actions and speech. We're looking at the top of the chart, moving down, because now we're moving inward. This starts by observing our own actions and speech. In yogic language, part of this starts with, for example, the yamas, which has to do with ahimsa, non-harming, and satya, truthfulness, and non-stealing. It's the relationship between me and the external world, which means wisely regulating our actions and speech and building good relationships with people out there in the world. And this is, in our journey in the evolution, it was the last piece that we talked about, but now we're turning around going inward, so it's the first piece. There's a principle of this that we all know. We all already know this. If you're talking about people you know well, family members, loved ones, co-workers, friends, we all know how to read the body language, facial expressions of other people. We may read it inaccurately, but we all know how to do it, and we all do it. You see your friend for the first time today, maybe it's you get up in the morning or you go to work and you see your friend, and you see that something's going on. You say, "What's going on with you today?" So you got something on your mind, something bothering you? And your friend says, no, I'm okay. And you say, well, I don't know, it sure looks like something's going on. Isn't this true? We all know this. Or sometimes somebody who knows you well will say that about you. And if it's a close person, you'll say, yeah, well, I've been a little bit worried about so-and-so, and you'll tell the story. So how does this happen? It gets expressed through our actions, through our body language and our facial expressions, all of these thousands, I was going to say, or many, many little muscles that keep tightening in certain combinations, thousands of combinations, and they all have an expression. There's a tone in our voice. Notice the way somebody says, "Good morning," or says, "Good morning." We all can hear this instantly. And so the principle here is that what we want to do on the involution beyond karma, we're trying to get beyond all of the levels and layers of karma. To do that, we start by self-training. Self-train ourselves in our personal relationships, but also it's the beginning of meditation by not just doing meditation when we're sitting on our butt, but by observing our own gestures and body language right in the middle of life, just like we already do with other people. And the significance of that is if you observe your own actions and speech, your own gestures and body language, you'll notice little motions that you're making, and it tells you that something's going on inside that you might have otherwise overlooked. Maybe you notice that there's a little muscle movement, a little twitch going on. Maybe it's so slight that other people don't even see it. Or you're sitting there and your foot, which is down there, starts to move around a little bit. Or you notice something in your belly or your breathing. You notice some little irregularity there. It's telling you something about your unconscious thinking process. But it starts by being aware of yourself out here. Sometimes this has been called mindfulness. Sometimes it's been called meditation in action. And whichever you want to call it is extremely useful and important part of the journey inward, the involution beyond karma, where we're trying to get back through all of these levels and layers so that we can experience that center of consciousness standing alone, which is the meaning of self-realization, sometimes called enlightenment. That's where we're trying to go, or called yoga. Okay? We'll continue on our journey inward, in involution beyond karma. See you in a minute.